Before Tesla, electric cars were the vegetables of the auto industry, something people were supposed to want, but no one actually did. Then, a startup that did not exist before 2003 built a $100,000 sports car that could outrun a Porsche, hit $1 trillion valuation, and made electric vehicles feel premium. That was not luck. It was absurdly deliberate, and the playbook behind it is already starting to crack. In July 2003, two engineers, Martin Eberhard and Mark Tarpenning, filed the paperwork for a new car company in California. At the time, electric vehicles were stuck with a slow, sensible image, more associated with golf carts and government mandates than anything anyone actually wanted to drive. The idea of an electric car as a luxury good, let alone a status symbol, was almost unthinkable. But the Tesla founders didn't want to build another compliance car. Their vision was to prove that electric could mean thrilling, not just responsible. That meant starting at the top, not the bottom, a direct challenge to the auto industry assumption that green technology had to be a compromise. When Elon Musk joined as Tesla's first major investor in February 2004, bringing $6.5 million and a relentless appetite for risk, the plan crystallized. Build something so desirable, it would force people to rethink what an electric car could be. By 2006, Musk laid it out in plain language. In a blog post titled "The Secret Tesla Motors Master Plan," he wrote that the initial product of Tesla Motors is a high-performance electric sports car. Critical to making that happen is an electric car without compromises, which is why the Roadster is designed to beat a gasoline sports car like a Porsche or Ferrari in a head-to-head showdown. Enter at the high end, build a brand, then drive down market. This wasn't just a product roadmap, it was a deliberate bet. Make electric aspirational, not obligatory, and use that halo to fund the next step. The Roadster would be the proof of concept, a car that didn't just match the best gas-powered sports cars, but outclassed them. Only then, with credibility and cash in hand, would Tesla move toward building electric cars for everyone. The stakes were clear. If the first step failed, there would be no second act. Tesla's first production car wasn't just an electric vehicle, it was a calculated spectacle. The Roadster arrived in 2008 wearing a Lotus Elise's silhouette, but under the skin, nearly everything was re-engineered. Tesla struck a deal with Lotus to supply about 2,500 lightweight aluminum chassis, a shortcut that let the fledgling company sidestep years of development and focus on what mattered: speed, style, and shock value. This wasn't a car for the masses. With a sticker price between $100,000 and $120,000, the Roadster cost more than triple the average new car in America. But for that money, buyers got a machine that could launch from 0 to 60 in under 4 seconds, quicker than a Porsche 911 of the era. The battery, a 1,000-pound slab of lithium-ion cells, brought both bragging rights and headaches. It gave the Roadster a real-world range of about 125 miles, but its sheer weight forced Tesla's engineers to redesign almost every component Lotus supplied. In the end, less than 7% of the parts were shared with the Elise. The rest was pure Tesla, built for drama. Demand proved the point. The first 100 Roadsters sold out in just 3 weeks, years before the first Model S rolled off the line. By the time production stopped in 2012, about 2,400 Roadsters had been built, a tiny run by automotive standards, but enough to make waves. Today, surviving examples sell at auction for more than $250,000, cementing the Roadster's status as a collector's prize and a symbol of electric vehicle exclusivity. The Roadster wasn't about volume or practicality. It was a halo, scarce, expensive, and unignorable. Tesla used it to buy credibility and time, funding the leap to its next act. The company didn't just promise electric cars could be thrilling, it proved it, one lightning-quick, 6-figure sports car at a time. The launch of the Model S in 2012 did not just introduce a new car, It introduced an entire ecosystem built to make electric feel like the future of luxury. The Model S arrived as a full-size sedan with a 17-inch touchscreen dominating the dashboard, a feature that looked more Silicon Valley than Stuttgart. This was not a nod to tech. It was a statement. The car itself was a rolling piece of software, ready to evolve long after it left the factory. Tesla did not rely on dealerships. Instead, it opened minimalist showrooms in high-end malls, borrowing from Apple Retail Playbook. Visitors could browse, ask questions, and order a car with no haggling, no pressure, and no greasy sales tactics. The experience was designed to feel premium, frictionless, and just a little bit exclusive. Buying a Tesla was not like buying a car. It was more like joining a movement. Charging anxiety, long the Achilles heel of electric cars, met its match with the debut of the Supercharger network in June 2012. Early stations popped up along California highways, promising fast, free charging for Model S owners. By the end of the decade, the network had grown to thousands of locations worldwide, each one a physical reminder that Tesla drivers could roam far beyond the city limits. The Model S also broke the mold with over-the-air software updates. Owners woke up to new features, improved range, or even faster acceleration, all delivered wirelessly. In just 18 months, Tesla shipped 124 distinct updates to the Model 3 alone, a cadence unheard of in the auto industry. As UC Davis strategist Hemant Bhargava put it, Tesla was not just building cars. It was playing the platform game while everyone else was stuck in the product game. Every part of this ecosystem, hardware, software, retail, and infrastructure, fed into the same idea: electric cars could feel not just responsible, but aspirational. The Model S made premium electric not a contradiction, but a new standard. For a brief, dizzying moment, Tesla stood at the summit of the automotive world. On October 25, 2021, the company's market capitalization broke the $1 trillion barrier, an achievement no pure electric automaker had even come close to before. Wall Street, long skeptical of the entire electric vehicle category, now treated Tesla like a force of nature. The company's value soared past the likes of Toyota, Volkswagen, and General Motors combined, a signal that the market believed not just in Tesla's cars, but in its entire vision of the future. The numbers behind the hype were just as staggering. In 2023, the Tesla Model Y outsold every other passenger vehicle on the planet, clocking in at roughly 1.3 million units delivered worldwide. For the first time in modern automotive history, an electric car did not just compete with gasoline mainstays, it beat them outright. The Model Y, a mid-sized crossover with software at its core, dethroned the Toyota Corolla, a car once considered the global gold standard for mass market appeal. That was not just a sales victory, it was a cultural one. Electric had become mainstream, and it wore a Tesla badge. Investors and analysts marveled at how Tesla had turned what was once a niche, eco-conscious experiment into the ultimate status symbol. The company's direct-to-consumer approach, its relentless software updates, and its expanding Supercharger network all reinforced the sense that Tesla was not just selling cars, it was selling a ticket to the future. For a generation raised on iPhones and streaming, owning a Tesla felt like owning a piece of tomorrow. The company's premium-first strategy, once dismissed as risky, now looked almost absurdly deliberate. Tesla had made electric cars not just acceptable, but aspirational, and in doing so, it had rewritten the rules of the global auto industry. Cracks in the premium story began to show long before competitors caught up. Automotive teardown expert Sandy Munro, after pulling apart the Model Y, called the engineering brilliant, but pointed to panel gaps and misaligned trim as evidence that Tesla's California plant still struggled with the basics. In contrast, vehicles coming out of the Shanghai Gigafactory looked sharper, with tighter tolerances and fewer cosmetic flaws. The difference was impossible to ignore. Tesla could deliver cutting-edge technology, but consistency remained elusive. Full self-driving, once hyped as the company's moonshot, proved a double-edged sword. Despite years of updates, the system still required constant driver supervision. Regulators in the US and Europe pressed for clearer warnings. What was sold as autonomy often felt like an expensive beta test, with safety advocates warning that the marketing had outpaced the reality. The numbers, too, began to lose their shine. In early 2025, Tesla's stock price dropped more than 40% from its December peak, erasing hundreds of billions in market value. Vehicle deliveries slipped to 1.63 million, a sharp reversal after years of relentless growth. Europe, once a bright spot, saw deliveries fall by nearly a third, with Germany and France posting their steepest declines on record. Meanwhile, the competitive landscape shifted. BYD, a Chinese automaker once considered a regional player, surged ahead. By the end of 2025, BYD had overtaken Tesla as the world's top seller of electric vehicles, delivering more pure electric vehicles in a single year than any company in history. For the first time since the Roadster, Tesla was no longer the clear leader. The premium aura that once set Tesla apart now faced mounting pressure from within and without. Quality control, regulatory scrutiny, and a new generation of rivals all converged, testing whether the company's original bet to make electric cars aspirational before making them universal could withstand the next wave of change. Tesla didn't just make an electric car, it made desire the product, and practicality the sequel. Today, competitors chase the platform game Tesla started, even as its own image wobbles. The premium electric future isn't guaranteed. What is certain is that the rules and expectations have changed for good. Share your thoughts below.